Yes, I'm fully aware, Frank. The markets are closed in the U.S. today, but the markets will be working until I think noon um, due to the European market. So we'll see. So I took a poll yesterday and asked the room if they were still going to be trading today because someone asked if I would still trade the morning session, and I got a good response of people who said they were willing to jump on the charts today. So I just decided to take a risk and to do a live session this morning and see if there's anything worth looking at. If not, then it's fine. We can close up early. But if something's happening, then maybe it's something we can take advantage of. But yes, I'm fully aware of the U.S. bank holiday. I also decided to jump on early just in case we get a bit more activity now as opposed to towards the end of the session. So we could finish up probably around 10:30, maybe 11 at the latest. Do we have any of the regulars who are usually in the chat here this morning? If not, don't be shy. You asked for this session, so jump in and say hello. Very reminiscent of the Asian markets. At least that's the speed I'm looking at. But I did recognize a couple bullish breakers here. We are bullish. I'm seeing the drawn liquidity as being the previous day high. Well, not necessarily the previous day high. Previous day high is here at 2070 yesterday. But I was looking at this equal high here at 250. Now we very well could get to 2070, but I identified 250 as a clear draw, being pretty close to where we are. Now it's only about 15 handles from the 830 open at 235. But we already had this breaker here that was created yesterday around 8 p.m. That price trade through it this morning, the London Open. Retraced back down, providing entry at around 430. Then we saw price build up in two legs, trading upwards. On the last move down that gave the previous entry, it created another breaker. It was this leg right here created the breaker because we had this low swept on the way down. Then we had price build back up and close above this high, making a second breaker here, retrace down to consequent encroachment, and then we see price building for the second entry. Hey, Julio, good morning. Hey, Julio. You're new here. All right, well, welcome. Welcome. Is there anything you can tell me about your trading experience? How long have you been doing this? And what is your trading style? Like, what do you look for? What's your entry model? And we probably do need some block parties. You're right about that. Usual. I'm with you. Yeah, we'll probably have an abbreviated session this morning. I'd imagine most volume will be gone by 11 o'clock, so we'll probably be done at that time. That's why I got started a little earlier this morning. Um, it's still 5:40 in the morning for me, so I seem a little sleepy. Give me a nudge every now and then. But hopefully we're able to get something out of this morning. Mm. To 250? Okay. Oh, 20, sorry, 2250. You traded 15-minute opening range. Okay, Julio. All right. Excellent. Maybe you can provide us some insight into what you look for as we're looking at the opening range. Yeah, I'm currently in a long from 2236 out of this top breaker right here. So we'll see how that works out. This one here. Let's see if this inverse holds. ES moves. Thank you all for supporting the channel and liking the video. I appreciate you. So there was entry 1, there was entry 2. And this breaker here, we had confirmation here. So entry could have been any of these, including this one. Consolidating on the Dow, just went sideways. We are bullish, still pushing higher prices on S&P. Even though it's slow to do so, we're still pushing higher. S&P hadn't quite taken out yesterday's high, but it's close. And then here we are on Nasdaq, where first order business is looking for 251. If we get 271, that's the ultimate high there. So we'll see if that happens. Dollar is for the most part consolidating, but we did see it push lower at 6 o'clock this morning. Found some support down in the bullish fair value gap, and now it's pushing back into this range. Right now we have relative equal highs. Look who's here. What's up? Hey, Queen. Happy Juneteenth. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. Hey, Frank. Good morning. DB's here. All right. What's up, everyone? All right. See you tomorrow. Enjoy your day off. See if we can get through these equal highs here. What we might end up getting is something close to equal highs. It'll retrace into what is becoming a fair value gap here. Would be willing to take a 4-point loss here, which is total for 2 contracts, about $160. So we'll see if we're able to make it up to 251 or 257 before hitting 232. We've seen a complete retracement of this candle here in the last 2 minutes or so. Remember, we're on a 15-minute time frame right now. See if this fair value gap gets traded into, if it's an area that price wants to find. Already traded into the inverse here. This candle right here traded into the inverse fair value gap that was violated and disrespected with the previous candle. And in doing so, it created this fair value gap. About almost 30 minutes before the opening bell. Well, there is no opening bell today, so I'm not sure we'll get any type of reaction at 9:30, but we'll see. Oh, okay. Completely traded higher than the previous candle. I thought maybe we would have had a retracement because of where the candle closed, but I'll take it. How close did we get? We got half a hand, point and a half, point and a half away. I'm sorry, point and a half away from this black line. We got half a point away from TP. You sold at 250. Oh, okay, got it. I should have sold at 250. Looking at it now, No, I'm still hopeful we'll get up there. But I hate when it gets really close and then it makes you wait. Yep, 2 more minutes. Let's see. Can we get up there? Yep. Yeah, volume's low and price is moving really slow. So you just have to be okay with those parameters there. But yeah, you can still. Pablo, it's a personal choice, and we can't get into the hey, why didn't you sell? You can't do that because if you second guess yourself, then you won't have any rules. You'll always say, well, "What about last time it did this one thing?" You got to think about in the grand scheme of things, how would you trade all the time? And you can't do that. You can't see price moving away and then you exit. It's a bad habit to start. Yeah, I got in this morning and I found these two bullish breakers here on the 15 minute. I found this one here. That price had traded back into right here. And on the way down, it created another breaker by coming down halfway, going back up, and then coming lower. It created this breaker when it finally traded out of it. So I ended up taking this one because it was around the time that I was starting. But I think we can at least go and move our thing to break even there. And we'll see what happens. But what I am going to do is to go and refill my coffee cup. I'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Please. Oh, hey, good morning, Kevin. Yeah, we're just looking to see if there's anything to squeeze out of the market this morning with price moving slow and with volume being only coming from probably part of the European market. No, the U.S. markets are closed today. There is no opening bell and all that good stuff. It's a bank holiday, but the markets are available to trade. Yes, because the markets are traded globally. So you still have European market, you had the Asian market overnight. Volume is just low. So you see how slow the market is moving. You have several seconds go by and nothing changes. 5 minutes left in this 15-minute. Let's look what the 5-minute looks like. There, if we get stopped out, then we'll take another entry back at the breaker. Yes, Frank. Yes, the markets are going to be extremely slow today due to the bank holiday. And then the markets will close at 11 or 12 whenever London closes, and the markets will stop till 1800. Yep. So if you're looking for the market to have normal conditions, that's not going to happen today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that that may not happen today because we won't have an opening bell. There is no 9:30 open bell today. But I did earlier. I don't know if you were online or not, but I did earlier. Once this candle was made, this 8:45 candle closed at 9. I thoroughly expected it to trade into the fair value gap here. Oops, get rid of these. Sell limit there. I think it's the high. Yeah, 51 flat. Okay, so it would not have tapped me out. It would have needed to go another quarter of the handle. Surprised without an opening bell that we are getting a bit more activity here at 9:30. In fact, let's get this at the fair value gap. Oh, don't worry about it, Legion. Appreciate you looking out. Hey, Fabio, what's up? All right, so it's train is taking off without me. I think the other level I had was 256, I think, or maybe 257. I know it wasn't the full wick. It was a little bit further than half, but you know, let's see if we can try that again. Let's see if it'll come down. Tiago, good morning. How is Brazil? Okay, let's see. Let's see if this turns around or if this is going to be some kind of whiplash, whipsaw type of action. We took buy side, but we didn't take buy side, buy side. Hope the 8:30 open provides some support for price so it doesn't continue going. Oh, the pack. No, I see it's at the equal low, but the way I trade fair value gaps is that if this fair value gap is going to hold, the candle to the left of the fair value gap created candle, the low should hold. I do see that this is here, but I mean, I could put it down here, but that's another three handles. 78%. On the dot, 78. All right, if it turned around on me and stops me out, then that's fine. That'll be it for me for today. Just one of those things. Can't win them all, and I don't want to force it. So if price doesn't go and move in my direction here, then it's fine. Pack up shop and come back tomorrow. Hey, Sylvester, good morning. Hey, JR, good morning. Um, just because I had it as my second TP earlier. My original TP was at 251 flat. I don't know if if you just joined, but I had a trade on earlier where I had one TP at 251 and I had the other at 256. And I moved my stop up. It didn't quite hit 251 on this candle here. It got within 2 ticks of it, and then it traded back down and stopped me out. And then the opening bell took it up to that level. So now I'm just looking for price to return. And ultimately, what I really wanted to do is to take yesterday's high, which is here at 2270. But I just picked something much lower, just saying, hey, if we can get here, this is what I had on my earlier trade. I'll be happy with an exit there. So the original entry came from two 15-minute breakers. The first one was these two candles here, traded lower, and then over here traded higher and closed. The next candle traded back in, out of it. It returned one more time right here. In doing so, it made a low, high, lower low in its return. And then when it finally delivered, what it did was it created a breaker out of this series of candles. And so at 8:30 when I began, this upper breaker had just been confirmed, and price was inside. It was right down in here inside. That's why my original entry was down here. And we can now go to break even. And we'll see. If it comes back on me a second time, like I said, I won't force it. I'll just take my whipping and join tomorrow. Hey, Sony, what's up? Hey, Robin. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, it's market's definitely moving slow. We managed to find two 15-minute breakers here to use for entries, and we'll see if it delivers something, but it definitely doesn't look like it's in a hurry to move anywhere. But I do appreciate everyone who's joined so far this morning. It's been a good turnout. I thought it was going to be slow as far as people wanting to trade, but it's been a good turnout so far. For anyone who's new, everyone who's new to the channel, I'm sure you probably haven't seen YouTube suggests my channel to you before, so make sure you go ahead and subscribe. We live stream every morning 9:15, and then we do afternoons at 1300. Also, if you haven't done so already, if you could support the channel by clicking the thumbs up button and hitting the like button, that would do quite a bit towards convincing YouTube to promote us to other traders. Okay, looks like we might get a break even here. Hey, Caesar, what's up? Deepak, today is a U.S. holiday. It's a bank holiday. Americans are not trading. There was no opening bell today. When the London closes, the markets will stop. So around 12 o'clock U.S. East Coast time, the markets will stop. Yep. Yeah, I thought everyone knew that markets was going to be slow. Some people just still wanted to trade today. So I said I would be on for those who still wanted to trade, even though the markets are going to move similar to what we see during the Asia session when it's quite slow and you have plenty of time to think about your entries. And then it takes forever to get to whatever TP you set. So it's just, it's a long game. I hear you, Caesar. I don't think I was expecting any major points to be taken. So I'm not sure what you meant with that comment. Completely changed my strategy by trailing my stop very tightly. And so now we have another tap back into the fair value gap. And so it's back into the breaker here during the macro. So that could actually mean something good for price action. Yep. No, the pack. I'm done for the day. That was my second go at it. The first time I got in was at 8:30, right when I started. So it was here. And I had a TP at 251. It came up here to 250 and a half. I think it was 250 and a half. Then it traded back down. I think I had my stop loss right here. And it tapped me out. And then the opening bell happened, and then it ran to 251, which was my TP. So I didn't get it. And it traded back down. I got back in. And before getting it, it traded back down again. So no, I'm not going to force it. Slow volume today. It's not a lot of volatility. I just jumped on because so many of my subscribers said they wanted to trade today, even though they knew volume would be low and the price would be moving slow. And I wasn't doing anything else. I said, all right, fine, I'll jump on. So we'll run this until 10:30 or so and see how things are moving. If things are doing okay, we'll stay on till 11. If not, we'll close it at 10:30. But yeah, if you want to take this entry, go ahead. Yep. All right, Robin. So here's 15 minutes. So the first one was here. These two candles. So 7:30, 7:45 p.m. Right. So we had a low here to a high there, traded lower. And we finally confirmed here at 2 o'clock this morning. 2:15 traded back down and out. Then we had another retracement back down at 4:30, and then that was the final one. But in doing so, it did this right here. Right, so the breaker becomes the most recent swing low to swing high. So this leg, it traded lower, then it traded out of the breaker, confirming it, traded back in, hit consequent encroachment. And that's when I came in at 8:30. But this was the second one, and then it traded out of it, and now it's back inside. So that's what 3:15 was the low, and the high was at 4 o'clock. Okay, so you're in. Stop at 2:35. Okay. All righty, Pack. Good luck. Good luck on your trade. That's essentially what I was trying to do as well. Just run it up to 251. And the reason why I had 251, I think it was because of this level. Yeah, I think it was this wick. Five a.m. yesterday. Oops. Sorry. Let's get back down to the lower time frame here. Back. Let's put it on the one here. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go get my last cup of coffee here. Just give me a couple minutes. Yeah, but what high did it take, Sony? What high are you referring to? I don't tell me which high it took. And M Brown, I'm not sure of your question. Can you re-ask your question? What is rebuild on future account? I don't. Rebuilt. Yeah, I don't know what a rebuild future account. I don't know what that means. M Brown. I've never heard that. Maybe someone else, if you understand what a rebuilt future account is, can you jump in? Oh, is he talking about a rebill? Like when you get billed every month on your futures account if you haven't passed yet? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it is rather slow this morning, Deepak. So, yep. Mm. All right, Deepak. See you tomorrow. Take care. and move this over to 1050. Keep watching to see what happens. This breaker and whether the breaker holds or not. All right, Fuego. Appreciate your attendance. Thanks for dropping by. Looks like we got a lot of people who wasn't aware that there was a holiday in the U.S. today. So they're a little surprised by the slow market movement this morning. So if you do take a position, just understand that it's going to move a lot slower than normal. As you say, there's one on the 1 minute that's acting. This one right here, small one, or the larger one here, right at the 8:30 open. Yeah, this one here, I think it's all of these are on the 15 minute. So you have two on the 5. This 5, this one here might be the one similar to what you're talking about on the 1 minute, but here on the 5 minute, we see we put a wick in there. And in fact, these 3 wicks all have traded into this 5 minute fair value gap there. But this morning I took everything off the 15 minutes. So let me just make sure I denote that so we all know. Even the breaker is on the 15 minute. And this inverse is on the 15 minute. Right. We even got the inverse. We did get another tap to the breaker just a couple minutes ago. Hey, Dan, good morning. Good morning and welcome. If you guys can do me a huge favor and click the thumbs up button, please. That's an easy way to support the channel. Just click the thumbs up. The more likes we get, the more YouTube will promote us to other traders. Whenever London closes to me. So I think it's around noon for US. So maybe in about 2 hours. But just keep in mind, it's going to move slow until then. So you won't get your normal price movement that you usually see. Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone who supported the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. All right, hang on, CEO. Let me see what you're looking at. 5 a.m., 5 minute, 2 candles. All right, 5 minute, you say 5 a.m.? Okay, we have this one and this one. And your question is? Okay, so this fair value gap here is the 15 minute. So in this case, what you have here is you're looking for price to trade to equilibrium. So on a retracement, you'd be looking for price to trade to right here, which is 2231, which makes this the fair value gap to expect price to trade into. And that's why you see this wick and this wick, because you're looking for price to trade to discount, and it looks like it did it just barely. So maybe a handle or two. Then after these, price expanded one more time. So on the next retracement, you could take the entire leg. So now you'd be going from here all the way to over here and expecting the same, trading back to equilibrium here on the price leg, which we saw here. Optimal trade entry starts at 61.8 down to 78%. So it's this entire range is the optimal trade entry. So right when it touches 61, you're in that zone. We got a couple ticks right here. And since this 5 minute was traded through with wicks, but no body, so it was never invalidated, even over here, it's still relevant. Price traded into it a couple times. So I'll just leave this here. Leave that right there. Stretch this across. That's a good question, Siho. Good question. Do we have any other questions? Since price is moving slow, we can go ahead and do a little Q&A today. Candle high and low. All right. So Bryce, tell me which one you would have used. I do generally take the entire range. So I took it off at a 15 minute. But tell me which one you want to use, Bryce. Tell me what time frame you want to use, and tell me which candle you're using, and then I'll take a look. Anyone else who has those type of questions where it's more technical, don't feel bad. Just throw it in the chat, and we'll cover them all. So in a 15-minute time, but you use the highest up close. Okay, let me go back to the 15. Okay. All right. So in this case, where I found this to be the low, and then I saw this high being eclipsed here. So you're saying you would have only taken the the last up close candle before the push lower. So you would have done this. And you can use that because I've known a lot of people who have used that range, and you can see that range works here. You would not have gotten stopped out. The reason why I like to use the entire range is because when price retraces back down, it can go as far as so if this was, oops. All right, so if this is the low end of the breaker, and this is the high end of the breaker. Okay, if that's your low end and your high end. For the breaker to be activated, the first thing you need is this low to be broken. So this leg traded down. Then for it to be confirmed, now you need this leg to be traded above and close. So that happens here. On the retracement back down, price can go as low as here. And as long as it doesn't close below this level, it's still an active breaker. So it can trade all the way down, put a wick here, trade back up, close up in here, and then start trading higher, and we're good to go. And so the reason why I take the entire range is because I need to account for all of this on this retracement back down. So what you can do, if you don't like that idea and you don't want to do that, what you can do is you can wait for price to trade down here and trade into this space and balance price here. Once that happens, when it starts trading back up, you can either take an entry at consequent encroachment on the way back up, which is, it'll take some practice, and it's an aggressive entry, but you have to believe that it's going higher. The draw on liquidity needs to be higher, and you believe that. So you can take that entry, or once it trades down here and balances this area, now wait for it to trade above, close above, and confirm another time. When that happens, then it trades back in, and you can take that entry knowing that it's not going to trade down here anymore because it's already done it. But you're going to miss the first leg all the time. You're always going to miss the first leg. And so you just have to be comfortable and be patient to wait for that first leg to deliver 25, 30 points. Then it comes back and you get it on the second time. And usually that's the one that's a sustained run that may give you 50, 60, 70 handles. The first one usually always does between 20 and 30, and then it comes back. So that's what you have to deal with during your next back testing session. Confirm everything I just told you, and you'll see that a lot of times what you get is a 20 to 30 point, come back down, trade lower than the breaker, get some of this unbalanced price below it, and then trade higher. So that's why I take it. Plus, it gives me more confidence and comfort that this is actually a breaker when I have a sustain and I can get a couple candles in the same direction. So for me, it's just a cleaner setup, and it's what I look for. Let's see what else we got. Alessandro, sorry, I'm unable to read or understand what you're saying here. Sorry about that. I do not, in TX, I do not use VWAP. I was in a trade earlier. I think it was when price traded back down on this candle, and then it started trading higher. Maybe it was this candle, it traded lower and it started going higher. I was in this trade here at 10, or maybe it was just before 10. Maybe I was in at 9:45. But anyway, someone asked me, why would I put my stop here when we have these equal lows, right? And at the time, I believed that we were going higher. And based on the fair value gap that was here, this is where the stop should have been placed. But remember what I just said. So now we're trading into this area. Now what we want to see is, does the candle body stay above? Maybe it'll put a wick below, but does the body stay above? All right, that's moving with some speed there. This is most likely not going to survive. Let's get back up to the 15. Still got 10 minutes left. So it's traded into the lower breaker, which was created beforehand. So we'll give it another 10 minutes and we'll see where the price is, whether it is still inside of this breaker and only pulls the wick below, or if the body is below. Oh, nice, Johan. Good job. Can I find a bearish breaker? Probably. Let me challenge you, Sony. Tell me what you think is the bearish breaker, and then I will help you out. So we use this as an opportunity for you to practice seeing the breaker. All right, Mo, good job. Way to go. All right, QW, good for you as well. Yep. Come on, Sony. Yeah, let's use this as a opportunity to practice. Tell me what you see, and then I'll help you. Oh, on the 1 minute. All right. The 929. All right. So remember, a bearish breaker. We're going to start high. We're going to go low. We're going to go higher, and then we're going to go lower. Right. So here on the 1 minute, this will be your breaker. It's going to be this entire leg from here down. Which will include the 929. But more importantly, it's the 9. If you want to use just one, it's the 928. So you were really close. Right? Confirmed it lower, it traded higher. And this is what I mean by, even though this is the breaker, this entire area on the retracement can be traded into. So you got that here. It traded out of the breaker, but that's because it wants to balance some of this area. Right? And like I said, you wait for it to confirm a second time. If you don't want to account for this with a stop loss and you just want to stay inside the breaker, first wait for it to trade through and wait for it to come back and reconfirm a second time, which it did on this candle. And then you catch it the next time it comes up, which it did right here at 10:03. It came back in, and then it did it again at 13, 14, 16, 17. And on the 1 minute, that becomes your bearish breaker. Yep, there you go, Legion. But you could, if you want to, you can just use this one candle. I've seen lots of people do it. It's just not my way of drawing it up. But if you did draw it up that way, you would have had 1, 2, 3 entries here at consequent encroachment right there. You would have lost your trade on this entry if you would have been trying to get in here, because you most likely, with such a small breaker, you would not have been accounting for a retracement this far. Yeah, well, Sony, yeah, you're spot on. Actually, both candles are the same size, so your breaker would have been exactly the same. It wouldn't have been any different. Um, but yeah, the more you practice finding these breakers, you then it's hard not to see them. And the DB, you want the 5 minute? All right, DB, tell me, what's your breaker? Nope, nope. When this is your breaker, part of the breaker is, you got to remember the entire wave. So it goes from here to here to here to here, right? So that's your wave. The breaker is this part, but is only invalidated when price trades above this. Trading up in this range does not invalidate the breaker. It can still come back down and still produce everything you wanted it to do. You just got to remember, you have all this price up here that also needs to be balanced. And so that's why I said, if you don't want to, so if you want to enter here, that's fine. But then your stop needs to be, I mean, this is a large range. Most of the time you don't get it so large, but your stop needs to account for all of this. If you don't want to do that, that's why I said, let it trade up. And then when it comes back down and reconfirms your breaker once again, you get in the second time. And so instead of it entering here, because it was too scary, you didn't want to put a stop up in this area, you wait until it comes here, because it's already done that. You know it's not going to go back up there again, or you have a pretty high confidence rate that it's not going to go above this level or even back up in this area. You can then take the breaker and put your stop just above it. But this was a test of patience, so you don't. So you just have to be willing to let it trade through. But sometimes it'll come up, tap it by a little bit, and then start trading lower, and then you feel like you missed it. And then that's why you don't want to jump in down here and you say, oh, okay, it already hit the breaker, so I know it's going lower, because then it comes back and it does this, and now you're out and you lost the trade when you shouldn't have. So always be patient. Right? Same way with this bullish breaker. It could go all the way down to here, and as long as it doesn't close below this level, we have not invalidated this bullish breaker. And we're on the 15-minute. We have 3 minutes left, and look at where it is now. So you could have taken an aggressive entry here at 232 and try to ride that up, or wait until it comes back above, closes above, and when it trades back down and taps, then you enter a second time. And now you have confidence that this whole lower half of the breaker is not going to be traded back to. So your stop doesn't have to be as large, because it's now already been accounted for and been balanced. For me, Johan, just because I've been looking at this long enough, after this drop, I would have taken an entry at consequent encroachment. And depending on where consequent encroachment was, maybe I would even be exiting my trade when it gets to the top of the breaker, because I would have gotten enough. This is a pretty small range. This is only like 7 handles, so I wouldn't. But that would have been my entry there. Right. What other questions do we have? This is a perfect day to ask because volume is low, price is moving really slow, and we don't have our usual players in the room who are usually doing a lot of the chatting. But we also recognize we have new people. We have new people who haven't seen the channel before, and this is their first time discovering us. And that's because whoever they usually watch is most likely not live streaming today. So I want to welcome all the new subscribers as well as just the people who are just watching. If you find this helpful and valuable, I would appreciate a subscription on your behalf. But as a minimum, if you're liking what you're seeing this morning, if you could click the thumbs up, that would do quite a bit towards helping the channel out if you could like the stream. All right, let me take a look at what this wick looks like. Because sometimes we will get a trade back down to consequent encroachment. So let's put that here. All right, we have another 15-minute candle opening now. Okay, we're trading above the breaker just a little bit. At the end of the 15 minutes, we want to see if it closes above, which will reconfirm this breaker as being bullish and seeking higher prices. And then you could, if you want a very, very conservative entry, you can then take that breaker entry. And a more aggressive entry would be somewhere inside of the breaker. Oh, Enoch, good morning. Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat. How long have you been trading, Enoch? And also, what's your entry model? Okay, JC, no worries. Yeah, so not everyone trades my style. Everyone who comes to the channel on a daily basis, most people trade their own style. We're just a group of traders just hanging out. So you don't have to trade alone. You have someone to talk to, someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to say, "Hey, I see this right here. Would you think anything of it, or is it just trying to trip us up, or just whatever?" But no, I'm not a channel where I invite you to trade just like me, nor do I offer a signal service or anything where I'm telling you, hey, this is where you should get in, this is where you should exit. That's not what we do here. But I do tell you what I see. I tell you what I like, what I don't like, and I invite you to do the same in the chat. Okay, so DB likes the 820, 825 candle. On the 5-minute, I'm assuming. All right, so DB, I think we were looking at a bearish breaker. So your bearish breaker would be this candle at 805. I'm sorry, that's the bullish breaker. Sorry about that. You're looking for a bearish breaker. It would have been 855. 855 would have been your bearish breaker. I don't love one candle breakers, but you could have used that one. So it would have been this one here. All right, you would have went from high to low, to a higher high, And then your lower low closing would have been this one here at 9:45. You would have got a retracement back in at 10, at 10:10, and at 10:15. And then you would have got a push lower. So DB, this would have been you. You said 9:10 candle. Oops. Okay, so if you wanted to do that, I think I know what you're saying. Then you would have used the 925. So I think that's what you said earlier. No, you said 825. So if you didn't like this setup to where this was the hot, you push higher and then you traded lower and closed here at 9:45. If you didn't like that one and you wanted this candle, you certainly could try that one. So let's move this. Let's get rid of it. So you could have tried this where it would have been, essentially it's this entire range. So it would have been this whole move down, poked its head above. This put a wick below, but it didn't close. 2 candles later, it closed still at 9:45. So this would have been the same confirmation. And if you notice, the low here is the same low as the 8:55 candle, even if you had chosen a 9:25. So you got a confirmation at 9:45. You got a tap back in at 10, which is during the macro. So we like that. It came back again at 10:10, 10:15, and then push lower. So in fact, now we're bouncing between this bullish one below and the bearish one above. Bearish is on 5 minutes. The bullish is on 15. Let's go to 15 and see if we can find a bearish there. Kinda, not really. The closest thing we have to a bearish breaker on the 15 would be this leg down, but it's not confirmed yet. So we have already had the leg up. Now we need the leg lower, which we did get on at 10:30, but it didn't close below 231. So no confirmation on the 15 for bears, but we did get confirmation on the 5. All right, hopefully that helps. Oh, you're not trading for 15 years. Okay, so you are the senior in the group then. About 6 months ago, trading futures. Got it. All right, well, again, welcome. Glad to have you. Some of the times, exactly. And so your job is to figure out which times are most favorable for your strategy. What you need to see, what you don't want to see, what time frames you want confirmation on, those kind of things. Okay, Legion, yeah. Exactly. If you get an inverse fair value gap as well as a regular fair value gap inside of a 5 minute, then that becomes your unicorn and that becomes a very powerful setup. So Legion, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, I know. Yeah, today it should be, instead of actually trading, today should just be a day where you're learning and you're just looking at different setups and trying to, it's almost like forward testing. You put your setup on the screen, you say, okay, I like this, even though price is moving extremely slow, it gives you time to think about your setup, think about where you want to place things, and then you test to see if things work out for you. You practice seeing what you need to see. And then when prices are more favorable, there's more volatility, then you actually look to trade. Any more questions? Yeah, this was the only thing concerning on this build back up on this 15-minute when it traded all the way down and then rejected back higher, was that half of this wick is unbalanced. So we may get price trading down to 229, and we'll see what type of reaction we get there. But yes, on a day like today, if you want to trade, use your demo account. Because what might end up happening is price may not move fast enough, and then it'll close in an hour, and you'll still be in the middle of a trade, and you won't have a chance to actually get the target you were looking for. So if you're going to take a position, take a demo position. Oh, good call. We are in the macro. Thank you, Sylvester. Right, so do we get a trade here already? No, I don't think so, DB. I don't see a bearish breaker on the 5-minute at the 835 candle. Are you sure it's an 835 candle, or is it a different one? Okay, Kathy. All right, Kathy, let me find an easy example to show you what a breaker looks like. Kathy, are you familiar with order blocks? Because it's essentially a failed order block. All right, let me quickly jump to the 15-minute. I'll show you the one that I have marked up here. So here on the 15-minute, we have two. The first one was here. All right, so price is trickling down. It was a high here. It put in a low, made another high. It put in a low, and then it put in a high that was higher than this high. So when that happens, you have a breaker. And I'll show you what that looks like. And you see this from this low to this high is highlighted in blue, which is my breaker area. So a bullish breaker, where this is a bullish breaker, you would expect higher prices, is when you have a low to a high to a lower low to a higher high. So what you would have expected was a lower high. You would have expected price to stop here and then carry on lower, but it didn't. It went higher. Oops. Right. It went higher than this low. So let me go ahead and put a marker here so you can see. So it went higher than that, but it's not confirmed until it closes. So just putting a wick and then trade it back into the breaker, it could have carried on lower and been no harm, no foul. Once this candle happened where it closed above this black line, now this blue shaded area, the breaker, became confirmed as a breaker, and you can take it for a bullish entry. So this candle confirmed it by closing above. Then this next candle traded back inside the range, and you could have taken an entry there and look for bullish prices out of that. And we had bullish prices all the way until we got up to 252 after the opening bell, and then price traded back lower. And so that's what happened there. But that's what a breaker is. So it's when you have, when you're following price action lower. Yep. So when you have lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, and then you finally get a higher something and it breaks that trend, then that's your breaker. Hopefully that wasn't too terrible of an explanation. Hopefully he was able to follow that. Yes, if you're looking for information on the breaker and how to learn the breaker setup, there's a YouTuber who has a series of videos, about 7 or 8 of them, all combined. They're short, so all combined, you can watch all 8 in like 40 minutes. And he breaks it down really well and explains what you look for and how to take the setup. His name is Ash Trades. Let me give you, I'll find his video and give you the link. Oh, it looks like maybe he's taking him down. I don't see his unicorn setup any longer. Let me go to my Discord. Give me a second. Okay, so it's not on his website anymore, but I do have the link. So let me share that with you. Here's a link. Oh, he does still have it. There was two people named Ash Trade, so that's what happened. That's weird. Hmm. Okay. But anyway, you have it now, so it'll take you, like I said, it'll take you 30, 40 minutes to run through it one time, probably watch it a second time, and then you should have a pretty good understanding to start back testing. Nope, it doesn't have to be on one time frame. I like it on the 5 minute because that gives me good confirmation that price is actually moving that direction. Sometimes the 1 minute will give you a little fake out, but otherwise it's fine. Yeah, Robin. Robin, actually what happened was I just searched Ash Trades and there's actually two of them, which is weird. The one I should have clicked on was the one with almost 10,000 subscribers, but there's another one with only 1,000 subscribers. But, all right. Any more questions? Anybody got anything else for us this morning? Oh, did you, Robin? Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I know it was a little tricky today, and I know price is moving slow, so some people don't feel like it's worth their time. But when price is moving slow, you actually get a chance to think about things and process the information without having to pull the trigger. And so yeah, this has been a good morning. I'm glad that some questions have come through because I think sometimes people are not as open to share the thoughts that they have or the questions that may be running through their head. And so you just go with questions being unanswered. But the best thing to do is to answer them and then continue on in our journey of learning. The crazy thing, Robin, I think this is the most amount of people we've had view any live stream that we've had since, I think, since that week that Topstep was on vacation. They went to Vegas or something and nobody was watching Topstep TV. I think we had 700 or 800 people on one stream that day. But yeah, this is by far the most we've had in recent memory. Let's see if we can get 100 likes today. I need 12 more people who haven't clicked the thumbs up yet to like the video, and let's see if we can't get 100. But today I did 15 minutes. Normally I do 5. Today I did a 15-minute breaker just because I was on the 15-minute and it just kind of popped in my face and I looked and I saw it and I just marked it up that way. But typically you won't see me mark up a 15-minute breaker. I generally look for it on the 5. Yep. Yeah, I know it's a lot of likes. I really do appreciate everyone's support and all the new people who just found us this morning. No problem, Brian. I was not going to live stream this morning, but I'm glad I asked if you guys were willing to jump on if I live stream. Because, yeah, I definitely was not going to do it. I'm glad I did. I do. Yes, Kathy, go into the description of the video. In the description of the video, you'll see Discord/social media, I think. If you click that link, it'll give you a link to the Discord. It's a free Discord. You come in and yeah, there are videos on there like this Ash Trades playlist that I just shared with you. That's in there as well. You'll see some others that'll help you out. Plus, you'll just see some of the conversations between some of the other subscribing members. Good to hear, Dan. Yep. Yeah, we're all still learning. No matter how much you think you know, there's still more, or there's something that someone else has seen, some trend that just made sense to them, that they can share with you, and then it'll just change the way you see the market and the way that you trade. Excellent. Good to have you, Kathy. I'm glad you were able to find our channel this morning. Yeah, ICT is not it's not an easy concept to learn. I first started at the very end of 2021, like November of 2021, and then he started his YouTube mentorship at 2022 in January. So I basically jumped on board then and ran all the way through 2022 into 2023, and then I kind of broke free on my own and decided that I would start running with all the info I had gathered instead of continuing to learn more. Good stop if it got in on this unicorn. Let's see. Now that we've already traded lower and I was in, mm, it depends. If I had gotten in at consequent encroachment, I would have put my stop there, so I break even. If I got in anywhere, actually, you know what? I'd probably just leave my stop there. So put your stop at consequent encroachment and leave it there. Consequent encroachment of the breaker. So that's what, 232. But it depends. I mean, if you got in up here, just depends on how you feel. But with how slow price is moving, and you may, like I said, you may not make it to your TP, so it may be a little difficult to hop in now. Maybe you want to wait until when the market reopens at 1800, take an entry then. Oh, the bearish breaker, 855. All right, I had to get back down to the 5 minute then. Hmm. Yeah, this is tough because the 930 candle already traded into this area with the wick and came back in. So then once price shot lower, I would have been expecting price to not go past the consequent encroachment here. I wouldn't be looking for higher than 244 and a half. If it goes higher than that, then I wouldn't be trusting the bearish setup here. Mago, I think it does close at 12. Yep. Whenever London shuts down. So in about 45 minutes or so. Been trading silver on micros. Okay. All right. Well, the easy draw on liquidity will be the morning high. So it'll be here at 252. But ultimately, yesterday's high, previous day high was 270. So this wick from yesterday at 8:30 in the morning, the news event. So that would be the draw on liquidity on a higher level. But the easy close one would be here this morning, 250. Nope, Dan, you need a fair value gap for it to be a unicorn. Other than that, if it doesn't have the fair value gap, then it's not a unicorn. It's just a breaker setup. So the unicorn setup should give you a bit more confidence that the price is moving in the direction that you want, which is why some people prefer the unicorn as opposed to just taking the breaker. And then others prefer the inverted fair value gap because the inverted sometimes will be the exact point where price will stop. Last. All right, what other questions do we have? Come on, I know we have some new people in here. All right, let's get back up to the 15-minute, and I will drop these lines here from our example earlier. Um, well, I didn't. I didn't know. Well, there was a couple things. I didn't know that I shouldn't go short, but I wanted to see if price would confirm I should go short. And so that's why when I said that even though you have the breaker where we go from this low to this high, we made a lower low and then we made a higher high for the bullish breaker, you still have to account for when price went below the breaker, which was this level down here, these wicks. So when price started pushing lower, it didn't scare me that it wanted to touch that. That just meant if I was in an entry up here, I would have to absorb this entire stop loss. So I wanted to see if we would get a body closure below this wick. And we didn't. Price started to push back and close back up in the range. So when that happened, I knew, and especially when it returns to consequent encroachment of the breaker, the 50% mark here at 232. Just by back testing these examples a lot, you notice that when it pulls back above 50%, then it's most likely going to push out. So for me, I was in a wait and see mode. I wanted to see, would it push lower and close, or would it just push lower with a wick and retrace back higher? But also, as you can see, we have two breakers. So we had one that was confirmed on this candle at 2 o'clock this morning, traded back down twice, once at 3:15, once at 4:30, and then it formed another one on top. So even though it pushed through the top one, the wick fell into the bottom one. So we're still heavily bullish here. And on top of that, these fair value gaps are done on the hourly time frame. So we're sitting on top of an hourly fair value gap, bullish fair value gap. And we're sitting above where price traded into the new day opening gap. So this is the price between when it closes at 1500 and then it reopens at 1800. I'm sorry, it closes at 1700, reopens at 1800. So you had price sitting on top of the new day opening gap, sitting on top of a 1 hour fair value gap, sitting on top of the first breaker inside of the second breaker. So it was just too many bullish confluences there. All right, Deborah, good to have you today. Thanks for joining. We're live in the mornings at 9:15, and then we come back at 1300 for an afternoon session. Obviously, today the market will be closed this afternoon, so there will not be a session. But I am glad we were able to do this morning, and that many of you were able to jump on for the first time. You could all do me a huge favor. I'm trying to see if we can get 100 likes this morning. We need about 5 more of you to click the thumbs up button. So if you're enjoying the stream, if you've learned something, if you can support the channel with a thumbs up, that would be great. Do we have any more questions? Anything else? All right, I think we'll give it another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll shut it down at 11:30. And we're running out of steam here. There's probably we're already at low volume today, but it's probably much lower now that we're at the very end of the London session. And so I'm not exactly sure what price is going to do from now until the end of the hour. But we'll stay on for another 10 minutes or so and see if some good questions come in. A new bullish breaker. Last question. The 10-10 5-minute. Let me check that out, Sonny. 10-10. Confirm a new bullish breaker. Well, Sony, what I would do is I wouldn't look for it to confirm a new breaker. I would try to just reconfirm the original one. And so what happened is when you got the trade lower here at 10:30, when it traded back above halfway, which is at here on, I guess, the 10:40 candle, it traded above half of the breaker. Actually, this candle did. 10:35 candle traded above half. And then the next candle, 10:40, put a wick on top of halfway and then traded higher. I would have been looking for price to reconfirm the breaker we were already in. So that got confirmed at 11 o'clock. This trade above and close reconfirmed this as the previous breaker we always had. So I would have much rather had reconfirmed a previous breaker that had already shown strength than to be looking for a new one. However, If you're looking to say, did it form a new one? Let's look and see. What's your breaker candle? I don't think this 1010 is confirming a bullish breaker. Unless you're talking about maybe this, which if this is what you're talking about, Sony, if this is it, then that's fine. You can use this and say, all right, so we had what is this? A high? All right, so we had a high here, so a low there, but it didn't make a new high. It didn't close above. I'm sorry. It may have put a wick up here, but it didn't close, and then it made another low. So when it makes another low, what you want to do is then reposition. Yeah. Just remember, Sony, the confirmation, you need the body to close above, not just a wick. You want to see that candle body confirm that area for you. So this is actually not a bad entry because you get consequent encroachment of the 5-minute and you get the upper limit of the 15-minute. So that's actually a good place to get in at. All right, guys, we got just a couple more minutes left. Any more questions? No problem, Robin. Happy to help. Yeah, this was a good educational day. So I like how this unfolded. Get a chance to help out those who have questions, but maybe a little too shy to ask. All right, I will do, Sony. Thank you for that. All right, unless we have any other questions, we're going to pull the plug on our session this morning. It was good. I'm glad I was able to get on a little early. So we still got 3 hours in today because we joined at around 8:30 this morning. So that was also good. I would like to get up a little earlier and do this more often before 9:15, just because sometimes there are some really good setups between 8:30 and 9:15. So maybe I'll try to get up a little earlier going forward and maybe end it a little earlier. But anyway, on your way out, everyone, make sure you click the thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's see if we can get a few more likes. And if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We have a Discord, free Discord. You'll find that info in the description. Just click on Discord/social media, and you'll have access to the Discord that we have. You can ask questions in there as well. But we live stream every morning at 9:15, and then we come back for an afternoon session at 1300. All right. MACC, no problem. Thanks for joining. Good to have you again as well. Fabio, good to see you as well. And Kathy, glad to have met you. Glad you're able to join today. All right, it's 11:30, so that's the end of my time. Sylvester, good to have you again as well. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your day. We're back at it tomorrow morning, 9:15. Looks like price is starting to move a little bit, but it will shut down in about 30 minutes. So you guys take care. I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy.